Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Zakaria, and I'm the Associate Director of Alumni Relations at the University of San Diego. I'm excited to have John Hinck join us today for the USD Alumni Association webinar, Strength and Honor, Dreams, Leadership, and Wisdom. The USD Alumni Association is a worldwide network of toreros. Our mission is to connect, engage, and involve alumni with USD and with each other while supporting the mission and goals of the University of San Diego as a Roman Catholic university. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's presenter. John Hinck is a book author, motivational speaker, leadership trainer, and adjunct professor. He is also a retired Army colonel and Apache helicopter pilot. He received a bachelor's in aviation management from California State University, Fresno, and 2 master's degrees from Central Michigan University and U.S. Army Command and General Staff College, respectively. He is currently a doctoral student in organizational leadership at USD. Welcome, John. We now turn the time over to you.
Sarah, thank you very much. I appreciate that great introduction. And Sarah, I got to say that what you do for the Alumni Association and for USD really is meaningful, impactful, and relevant. And oftentimes we talk about that in many alumni organizations. So on behalf of the greater alumni network, thanks for what you do for us on a daily basis. Hey, for those of you who are just tuning in, I want to say thank you for taking the time to just share with me some ideas regarding Strength and Honor from my book, which deals with stories of leadership, character, and values, and really how they intersect at the crossroads of dreams, leadership, and wisdom. So this idea of the world that we live in, each one of us can make a meaningful, impactful, and relevant difference. I'm going to talk a little bit about the words at the bottom here, the son, soldier, mason, writer, speaker, student, because that's how I define who I am and what I love to do. More on that as we go through the slides. So here's my book cover, and if you're interested, Sarah has several copies in her office, and she can probably get that to you, or you can go to my website, which is at the end of the slide presentation. So a little bit about Strength and Honor. The Army motto of Army Strong is really about having the mental, physical, and emotional strength to make a difference that matters. And the idea of honor is how soldiers live up to the 7 Army values. And you can see that on this slide. So this idea of Strength and Honor has been with me for a long time. And I really am going to share some of those ideas of mental, physical, emotional strength and living up to a set of values throughout this presentation. Most of us have seen little kids play soccer, and often it's pretty cute, right? I mean, the ball kind of moves around the field, and either a big swarm follows the ball, and even sometimes the score is really lopsided. Well, you know, because scoring really doesn't matter for them. It's really about having fun. But scoring in life means doing the things that matter most, and as professionals, we don't play little kid soccer. That's one of the lessons from my book, and I want to kind of start with that lesson as we really think about the ideas of dreams, leadership, and wisdom, and how they connect to us on a very personal level. So this idea of dreams, leadership, and wisdom is pretty important to me. Let's start off with dreams. You know, many folks know about the dream of going to the moon. Virtually, it was thought to be impossible, yet one of our great presidents, JFK, really believed that we could do this. And it was that dream that propelled us to travel thousands of miles and to plant the American flag on a distant structure. This gentleman, Martin Luther King, also had a dream. Dr. King believed in the values and the equality of all. And furthermore, he really embraced the idea that, and had the hope and dream, that the sons and daughters of our nation would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Now, Dr. King so believed in this dream that he was willing to die for that dream. So this idea of dreams, right? My dream has always been to fly a helicopter, and I got to do that. This is one of the aircraft that I flew called the Apache Longbow, both in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Korea, in Albania, and in Germany, as well as the U.S. And here are a couple pictures from my time in the service. The upper left picture, I'm testifying before the Senate Education Committee with Dr. Susan Larson in terms of the impact that the post 9/11 GI Bill has on veterans. And I'm a recipient of that program, so I'm very passionate about it. The other pictures are of me with several leaders in my career who made a difference in my life. Now, I love the Army. But really, the idea that being smart is their best weapon, and I had the opportunity to command a 53 aircraft organization consisting of fixed-wing and unmanned systems in Afghanistan with over 740 people. What allowed me to do this was the Army's emphasis on training and making sure that we had the best equipment, the best people, and the best leaders for those individuals. I owe much of the success of this task force to both my Catholic upbringing and to the principles I learned in the Order of Demolay and the Masonic organization. So what's my dream now? Having retired from the Army 2 years ago, I ended up teaching college as my first job, loved it, and then went into corporate America, did not love it, and being back in the classroom really resonated with me. And so while over the past few years, I really built this program for myself of being a keynote speaker. I still do that along with attending the University of San Diego's PhD program in organization leadership. I also have another dream. You mentioned or you heard me mention Masonry earlier. Well, Masonry, like many social nonprofits, has gone through a membership challenge. And for those of you that don't know, Masonry, the world's largest and oldest fraternity, is a social organization of men that really teaches lessons of social and moral virtues based upon symbolism associated with tools and language of the ancient building trade. And members are obligated really to practice brotherly love, mutual assistance, equality, and trust among all. So really the heart of Masonry is about being a better person and turning that betterment towards society as well. But like many organizations and social nonprofits, since the 1950s, Masonry has had a steady decline. Well, so what? One of my dreams is to reverse this decline because I really want to figure out what has happened and how we can do a better job in terms of embracing. Now, there's a lot of speculation on causes of membership decline, but we really don't know what's happened. It could be social or cultural changes, needs in society have changed, and maybe even technology has influenced. But this is all speculation because we really don't know why the decline has happened. There's been no definitive study. As a PhD student, I kind of embrace this challenge with the following two research questions of what are the different factors and reasons that cause people to join or to leave after joining, and then what's the relationship, if any, between values and decisions to quit being active. And so I began a qualitative mini-study to begin to determine the causes. The following slides kind of show the areas of my research. I asked a few fundamental questions. Why did you join and why did you leave? And the areas in blue were the common answers across all three individuals that I interviewed in terms of a qualitative interview. The expected and family involved, interested in Masonry, it seemed like a valuable organization, and they saw great value in Masonry. But they left because the organization lacked substance and really provided nothing for them. It no longer met their interests. They thought it was relevant and out of date and not making a difference in the community. So two further questions really revolved around, so then what is a valuable organization and what values are important in others? The answers you see in blue were consistent across all three groups. And a valuable organization really met their interests and needs, enriched them and the community, and it was intellectually stimulating and provided context. The idea of trust was really at the center of the values that were important. Also, values connected with others that help and aid them, makes them feel appreciated, and makes them feel better. Kind of the hearts and minds. If you remember the Wizard of Oz, the characters there were looking for what? Courage, heart, and mind. And so this idea of hearts and minds was sort of central to the issues that of values that are important in others. Now, ask a fundamental question: if Masonry did these things, would you consider joining? And consistently, the answer was Masonry could do these, but they need to change and be less rigid, more contemporary, less focused on ritual, shorter meanings, and make me feel these three following things: valued, trusted, and make a difference in the community. It was no surprise that making a difference, valued, and trusted were consistent in the qualitative study, because those were the three top reasons, as found in the Global Workforce Study report back in 2012, of why people remain in organizations. Oftentimes money is listed. Money is actually number 8 out of 10. So let's explore these three areas more about making a difference, valuing people, and showing that you truly trust others. Remember, my goal was to make a difference, and my dream was to reverse the membership decline. And so if the organization can focus on making a difference in terms of connecting to a bigger movement or organization that's doing worthwhile things in the community world with a purpose that matches their interests, they're all in. If the organization really can value people in terms of being listened to, how often do we ignore new people in an organization? Valuing people also includes receiving knowledge, showing appreciation and recognition, being rewarded, asked their opinion on events, and being respectful with time in effective meetings. An organization that shows that type of value in people, those individuals are fully committed. The last one is showing that you truly trust others. How do we do that as leaders in the organization? Well, we give others responsibility. We give them value, training, and skills. We give them the freedom to plan and execute and don't micromanage. They're selected for bigger projects and they're promoted to leadership positions. It's those areas that really focus on improving membership, attraction, and retention. Now, that study was just a mini study to begin determine the reasons why the decline has happened, and ultimately to reverse that trend. So that's one of my dreams. You heard about flying Apache helicopters, about attending USD, about being a keynote speaker, and this last one was really about how can I affect an organization to which I belong and I'm a big fan of. So what are your dreams? How are you connecting in a meaningful, impactful, and relevant way in terms of achieving your dreams for the world? Oftentimes we think we're just one individual, that maybe we can't make a difference on the world impact. But I say that one person can make a difference, and that person can be you. In terms of dreams, leadership, and wisdom, let's talk about leadership next. So confidence in yourself is needed to lead others, part 1. Now this is a story from my book, and you'll hear a few of these in the following slides. I was running for an international position in a youth organization called the Order of DeMolay, and I was asked on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of leadership, what number are you? In fact, all of the candidates were asked this same question. I was the last one to answer. So what would you say on a scale of 1 to 10? Interestingly, answers ranged from I'm a 6 with room to grow, I'm a 9, I'm a 1 because I'm humble, I'm 9.9 to infinity. All those are really good answers. My number was 100. And after a hushed and sort of bewildered looks came my way, the individual who asked the question said, John, I said on a scale of 1 to 10, and I kindly interrupted him and said, brother, I understood the question, hear my answer. Running for an international office in a youth organization is a pretty important thing in my life, and I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for you to put trust in me to represent the organization in a meaningful, impactful, and relevant way, and if I didn't fully believe in myself, not that the other 6 individuals up here are not just as capable, but I know John Hinck, and I'm truly confident in my abilities to lead this organization. That's why I think I'm 100, and that's why I want your vote and trust in this position. Now, I ended up winning off the first ballot. So maybe in hindsight, that answer or the election sort of proved the worth of the answer. 2 years ago, the set of candidates running for the international office, which was over 3 decades since I'd ran, was asked that same question. The young man who won the election answered 1,000. Now, maybe due to inflation, the answer gets heavier. But it's interesting that the individual who answered 100 30 years ago and the individual who answered 1,000 both showed a level of confidence, which was really important to the organization. Confidence in yourself is needed to lead others, part 2. This is the story of Alpha 312. You will stand in my door until you graduate. Just after becoming a second lieutenant and attending Army Aviation School and learning how to fly helicopters, I attended the infamous U.S. Army Airborne School, or Parachute School, at Fort Benning, Georgia. And for those of you who don't know me, and probably most of you, I don't like heights. Now that's odd because I'm a pilot, but going to the edge of a building kind of makes me really nervous. And I was terrified that I would have to stand in that door and look down 1,100 feet to the ground. And I just hoped that I would not have been the one to have to stand in the door for a long time, but just as luck and fate would have it, I got to do that. And so as the plane banked around after the first pass of the drop zone and we came back around again at 1,100 feet, the green light goes on. I had the SWAT on my butt because the nerve endings are there and there's nothing covering that part of my body. I have equipment on all the other parts of my body. So the green light goes on, I get the SWAT, and I don't move. The jump master ends up kicking me out with his boot. That's called the Kiwi assist. Kiwi is the name of the product that is used to shine boots. So he Kiwi assisted me out of the aircraft. Now training took over. I looked up, made sure the canopy was good, drifted into the wind, pulled the risers, hit the ground, did a parachute landing fall like I was trained, and an individual came over and said, Alpha 312, the jump master wants to see you. Now, in the Army, like most military schools, we're given a letter and a number, really to desensitize us and to really push the idea of conformity. We're just a number or a combination of a alphabet and a number, a letter and a number. And so I go to the sergeant, and he said, "You think you have you think that you're scared of heights. You think that you have a concern over jumping out of an aircraft. Well, that's not your problem. Your problem is that you don't have confidence in yourself and you don't have confidence in the people or the equipment that have been provided to train you. But I will correct you of that. Alpha 312, you will stand in my door until you graduate." I mean, I couldn't believe what I just heard. The second and third jump, and we do 5 jumps in airborne school. The second and third jump, I stood in the door again and did not go when it was my turn, and he assisted me out again. But the fourth and fifth one, I gained more confidence and was able to jump out on my own. This idea of confidence is really important to me and integral to me in my terms of leadership. Another area is the idea of commitment. I talked about confidence, and I'm going to talk about commitment. And you may have heard the adage that leaders do more than contribute, they commit to their people. So let me tell you the story of the chicken and the pig, or bacon and eggs. Many of you like bacon and eggs, but you know what the difference is between the chicken and the pig? The chicken contributed where the pig fully committed. Your people, your organization, and even your family want you to be the pig in terms of commitment to the organization and commitment to the people. Be a pig. So what is your leadership? You heard me talk about confidence, even competency early on about flying and being smart. This idea of confidence and commitment are central to my idea of leadership. So what's your version of leadership? How do you make a meaningful, impactful, and relevant difference in the world of ours? How does your leadership positively influence others to produce positive change for the greater good? But it's not just about having great dreams, and it's not just about leading others. The idea of wisdom is paramount as you move forward. Many of you have probably seen this pyramid called the DIKW, or Data, Information, Knowledge, and Wisdom. Well, data turns into information because value is placed on data. And when you have situational understanding of information in terms of context, it really becomes knowledge. And with that knowledge, you can make wise decisions. And this is also called wisdom. Maybe a different way to look at this idea in a more simplistic way are asking three questions. What, so what, and now what? The what part is really about the facts of the situation. And so let's use an example. The building is on fire. That's a fact. Well, so what is putting value to those facts that are irrefutable? The building is on fire. So what? So what? Well, we could die. I like breathing. I like being on earth. I like making a difference. People could get hurt. The building could collapse. Now what is really focused on the future action. The now what takes the facts after value has been applied and looks to the future to provide a way of making a wise decision. So let's look at all this on one slide. On the left, you have the what, so what, now what, and on the right, the elements of the pyramid. Again, the now what is circled along with wise decision making. Wisdom is really about moving up the pyramid and moving through the three simple questions to arrive at a wise decision. Let me make this more personal. 2 years ago, after I retired, I began teaching and loved it. And that's really what made me apply to the school, or to the University of San Diego, School of Leadership and Education Sciences. Now those other pictures there, you'll see the nice water and pier. But those other pictures really are of a beautiful lady that came into my life really about a year ago now. She's my Aunt Ethel, who's 97. And you might ask, well, what significance does that have regarding San Diego on here? Well, a year ago when I began the program, I was intently focused on just being a PhD student and kind of enjoying life after being in the Army for over 23 years and living in over 14 locations in the world. Well, my aunt and my father lived together in Fresno, California, and last summer my father was killed in an accident. Now, he lived a great life, and he's just a beautiful man, but my aunt couldn't live alone at the age of 96 back then. And so I made a decision, in fact my family made a decision that she would not go in a nursing home. Here's why. Life expectancy compression, or LEC, goes down when elderly live alone or leave their own home. My aunt couldn't live alone, and she cannot stay in her own home that she and my dad used to occupy. The average stay in a nursing home is 14 months. 65% die within 12 months. Elderly live an average of 21 months in an assisted living facility, and they live an average of 38 months in an individual living facility. So let me go back one slide. So what? Well, if we didn't intervene, the life expectancy of my aunt would be compressed. Now what? She now lives with me. And so these decisions that we take and that we make in terms of how they influence our dreams, how they affect or extend from our leadership, are important crossroads in our life. You saw this slide earlier about John Hinck being a son, soldier, mason, writer, speaker, student, and I talk about these 6 words in terms of the impact they have on me because they define me by the things I love to do. I'm a son of Edward and Donna Hinck. My dad was a POW and grew up on the Philippine Islands, and at 18 he was interned by the Japanese. So when I think I'm having a bad day, I just think life is relative. And I thank God for all the freedoms that I have. I'm the son of Donna Hinck, who grew up on a ranch in California, Central California, and was a school teacher. Perhaps maybe I get my love of teaching and learning from her. I'm also a son, a pseudo son, but really a pretty real son to my Aunt Ethel right now because she has no kids. I'm a soldier first and foremost, beyond being an aviator and officer. I'm a master mason. And in fact, I'm serving the California Grand Lodge as the Grand Chaplain this year. So I get to see a lot of prayers and a lot of amens and hallelujahs. But I believe in the cause of Masonry. I'm a writer. As was mentioned earlier, I write out on all kinds of subjects, normally dealing with values, leadership, and character. I speak on those same subjects, and I'm not just a student at USD, I'm also a student of life and practice the martial arts. So what words would you use to describe you by what you love to do? What are your 5 or 6 words that you would put at the bottom of this slide? Because really it is your world. So how are you choosing the words, choosing the actions that are meaningful, impactful, and relevant? What is your wisdom in terms of making the right decisions? It's pretty simple, really, because your dreams, your leadership, and your wisdom come together to form your world. Oftentimes, we like to think that the world is in our hands, and while this image here represents that, I don't think it's quite right. We shape the world we live in. And if you want to make a meaningful, impactful, and relevant, positive difference in this world, if you really embrace the idea of having the right dreams, exercising the right leadership, and what that leadership is about, and furthermore, making the right, wise decisions of leading to wisdom, you have the ability to shape the world we live in, and you have the ability to shape the lives of others. Thank you for your time today. Again, I'm John Hinck. I'm a son, soldier, mason, writer, speaker, student. God bless you, and you have a great day.
Thank you so much, John. That was so powerful. I really, really enjoyed the stories that you shared, and especially about your Aunt Ethel. That is so wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Um,
Take care. Keep making a difference.
yeah, thank you. Um, I would like to thank everyone. And especially extend a special vote of thanks of gratitude to our presenter, John. In addition, I would like to thank the Mid-Career Alumni Network for hosting this webinar. There are many ways to connect to the University of San Diego and the USD Alumni Association through social media. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Flickr, and YouTube. This presentation will be on the YouTube channel of University of San Diego under a created playlist, USD Alumni Association webinar series. You can also connect to USD through in-person social and networking events as well as lifelong learning events in your area through the Torero Clubs. And just remember, no matter where you are a Torero for life. Thank you again and have a great day.